Welcome to the dark side of BEASTwriter. This is Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be discussing the breakdown of the Hall of Fame game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, so before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say mahalo and thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to my channel. Just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notifications so you get notified when I go live and when I upload content. So I've been getting a lot of comments, getting a lot of feedback on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. And so a lot of you guys are asking me questions on the Raiders depth chart that was released. The official Raiders depth chart was released. Anyone who's part of the NFL media that works with the Raiders, you'll get that in the email. And so it's the first year that I'm on covering the Raiders. So I was looking at it and going through it, and it's something that I alluded to, and we're going to talk about the offensive line. I think that's first and foremost what everyone wants to talk about as a hot topic of conversation because everything starts up front. We get it. But I went on Raiders Nation Radio, RNR 920, and they asked for my input on the offensive line. The good news about this was I pointed some things out. So I wasn't surprised that Alex Leatherwood was actually named the first string starter, although I was surprised and shocked, I guess, are two different things in the sense where, like, was I totally, like, shocked that he was named the first team starter? No. Was I surprised? I mean, I guess, because he wasn't taking first team reps. But there's a silver lining to that. And I outlined that in the Rio Nation Radio podcast, which I'll go ahead and include that in the description box below so you guys can go ahead and see that hit that I went on with Clay. But we talked about, Josh McDaniels and the Raider way, right? What exactly does the Raider way entail, right? And we talk about having tough, physical, smart football players. And so when you take that into account, and I talk about toughness, I'm not talking about so much about the physical toughness of the football player. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to be a tough guy in the NFL. But at the end of the day, we're talking about guys who are mentally tough just as much as they are physical. Like, I want to see guys in the fourth quarter who are not going to be getting lazy and are actually going to show some heart and fight and staying and maintaining their discipline and their leveraging and whatever the case may be in the fourth quarter. Because let's face it, on the offensive line or defensive line down in the trenches, you're either a waist bender or a knee bender. But as the game goes on, guys, you guys all know people get tired. Hands on the hips. People get tired. Hands on the head. People get tired. And that's when mistakes happen. So this is what I think you're going to see. Actually, I know you're going to see from Josh McDaniels and this Raider way and bringing this cultural identity to Las Vegas is you're going to see a very sound, fundamentally sound football team in terms of limiting their mistakes. They're not going to give up so much hidden yardage. And I talk about hidden yardage on my DOB game grades, and that's part of my grading system, right? So if you give up, let's say, for instance, a DB, right? I know you guys are new to follow me, who are Raider fans, obviously, but if you're a Steelers fan or if you're a 49er fan or Colts fan or whatever, Bears fan, Chiefs fan, Packers, I've been getting a lot, Panthers. So I've been getting a lot of NFL fans from different fan bases because I run DOB game grades on all 32 and exercise my voting rights for the PFWA at the end of the year. And I take that very seriously. So I have a good pulse of the top players around the league, whether it be a rookie, whether it be a second-year player like Bilal Nichols. When he came into the league, I said, this guy's going to be someone to watch. And the reason I said that, and I said, oh, no one knew about Bilal Nichols. Let's be honest. No one knew about Bilal Nichols when he was signed by the Las Vegas Raiders to a 2-year, $11 million contract. But I ran game grades. So I actually followed him for 2 years because I also studied Roquan Smith. I also studied and ran game grades on Khalil Mack. You talk about Eddie Goldman, Angelo Blackson. I mean, over the course of years, right? So Alec Ogletree, we can go, the list goes on and on and on, right? So, and that's not even talking about the secondary. Or it's not even talking about Darnell Mooney on the flip side, or that Tevin Jenkins I thought would be a bust, and here we are today. So, I mean, we can talk about any NFL team, literally, and there'll be no drop-off or little drop-off in production. So that's why when I run my DOB game grades, guys like Tyrann Mathieu, if you're watching, guys like Cam Hayward, if you're watching, thank you so much. They always love my game grades when I come out because I don't rely on PFF. I have my own grading system. And a lot of times, yes, PFF and the DOB, BWF game grades come to maybe a 0.2 of 1 point off. That's how accurate the DOB game grades. But then there's someone that's like totally off, as in the case with Tyrann Mathieu Honey Badger, who graded the best safety in the entire league, who's now with the New Orleans Saints. So talking about the AFC West, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs losing on the back end there. They got a little bit younger. Brett Veach, top 5 GM in my estimation, based on what he does in the personnel situation as far as drafting, and then obviously replenishing through the draft, and then also re-signing the players that he needs to re-sign in order to keep the core foundational group going forward and having a competitive football team year in and year out. But I thought the Tyrann Mathieu, to me, that's the heart and soul of your defense. It's not Frank Clark, all right? It's not Chris Jones. It is definitely Tyrann Mathieu, and you lose the heart and soul of your defense. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And again, Charvarius Ward's not on that team. He's off to San Francisco. I know he brings that swagger. Hearing a lot of good things from camp about him, but I wasn't too high on Charvarius Ward to begin with. But anyways, it's camp. You know, everyone's looks good in board shorts and running around without really being able to hit. I mean, the pads come on, but are they really? Do you guys really hit them? I don't know. Unless you're freaking Trevor Penning and get 3 fights. All right, Damian Bonds is new fan here. Subscribe and hit the bell, Raider Nation. That's what's up, bro. I appreciate the love and support, man. I see you, bro, and thank you so much. I'm mahalo for the love. I appreciate it. Spread the word to all your Raider Nation family and friends as we keep things hot here in the DOB. Nothing we're doing is, as I always do when I cover the Niners, Steelers, I always like to give back to all of you guys, because without you guys, there would be no me, right? I wouldn't be able to do what I do and live out my passion if it wasn't for you. So all the time, if you see me out and about, whether it be the gym at EOS off St. Rose Parkway, whether it be at Texas Roadhouse right down the street, everyone knows like I live right off St. Rose Parkway now. So if you see me out and about, and I notice that people have kind of like, is that BEASTwriter? Is that Beast? And so funny thing, 3 days ago, I ran into some kids, and I don't know who follows me, but they followed me on Instagram for my fitness gains because I compete. And I was at EOS, and they're like, "Oh, you're Beast, right? You're BEASTwriter." I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, can you show me some stuff, some workouts?" I'm like, "Ah, sure, you know." So I took time and showed these guys some workouts, because I geotagged my location, and I did a back workout, and I guess that kind of went berserk for a little bit. But back to this podcast, we're going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll talk about football and fitness. That's why you see this logo up in the right-hand corner of your screen, as you see that barbell and you see that football shield. Well, that's Silver and Black, Raider Nation. We're going to be talking about them. But then I also have my fitness gains competing on Team EVOGEN and Omar Team Ventura. So it's going to be lit this year. I'm telling you. Even if you're not a Raider fan, if you just like fitness, you're going to want to watch my stuff, because I'll be posting some really good workout videos for you guys to try out. And again, what may work for me may not work for you, and vice versa, right? So it's really cool. And I tie that into the strength and conditioning program. And I just like talking games. So here we go. All right. So let's not go ahead and waste any more time. We're just going to get started, because I know you guys want to know my thoughts. What is the Beast thoughts in regards to the Jacksonville Jaguars game, right? And I just want to let everyone know the starters are not going to be playing much. I mean, I think that's kind of common sense. I don't think the starters are going to be playing much. Obviously, Doug Peterson, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, already alluded to, he already ruled out Trevor Lawrence, and he also ruled out Travis Etienne. Obviously, Travis Etienne is coming off an injury in which he didn't even play last year. So they're kind of bringing him and acclimated and making sure the muscle memory is set, that you don't lose him in a meaningless preseason game. I shouldn't say meaningless, because anytime if you're a media member and you go, "Oh, in this meaningless preseason game," nah, man, every snap counts. Every snap counts, especially if you're trying to make a roster. So if you're a borderline bubble player and you're trying to make a roster and you're playing on the Las Vegas Raiders, you get one extra game set of eyes that everyone's going to be looking at you. So for me, I don't think there's no such thing as a meaningless game. I think you can always learn something on any given play, whether you're going ones against twos or ones against threes or threes against threes. So I'm really excited for the Las Vegas Raiders. When I went to the gym today, people were asking me, "Hey, how are they looking in camp?" I was just on Relevant, who obviously I work with, and Sean Salisbury and Tom McManus and my guy Randy Cross and Glenn Parker, of course. And we talk every Thursday. We talk at around 4 to 5 p.m. And they asked for my thoughts about Raiders camp. Hey, what's going on, Beast? What's going on with the Raiders? And I was like, man, Josh McDaniels has his ship going in the right direction. And again, this is my 10th training camp covered, so I've seen different coaching staffs over the course of 10 years because NFL stands for not for long. But it is what it is, and Josh McDaniels is doing one hell of a job. That's all I got to say about that. Very efficient in his practices, has this team going and trending in the right direction. And it all starts with stretching. You don't see these players dogging it and stretching. In fact, you don't even see these players dogging it when they're not on the field. They're actually paying attention to what's being done on the field, because you'll see the positional coaches on the side asking these players questions. Like, do you know how to cross train on this position? If you were to ask to do that, can you do this? If you were playing this technique and I lined you up here, do you know what to do if this receiver comes up across the formation, a 3-by-1 versus a 3-by-2? See, things like this you got to pick up on. And I can see it. And these players are very smart at picking things up according to plan. So very, very excited for this Las Vegas Raiders team. They asked me, how good are they going to be? Are they going to win the division? They have the 7th toughest schedule according to strength of schedule of winning percentage from last year or something like that. Definitely top 10 hardest schedules in the NFL. Someone get back to me on that. I think they have the 7th toughest schedule this year. But again, I really don't read too much into that, because each year has its own identity. And one year you can go 2-14. The next year you can be division champ. So I don't read too much into the strength of the schedule, because let's face it, if you lose Aaron Rodgers and you play the Packers, well, the Packers ain't going to be jack crap. Sorry. I mean, you have Jair Alexander, you have Rashawn Gary, you have Lancaster, who's right? You have Adrian Amos on the back end, Darnell Savage. You have David Bakhtiari, Elgin Jenkins. But really, Aaron Jones. You don't have MVS anymore. If I'm not mistaken, I think MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, is now on the Kansas City Chiefs. Correct me if I'm wrong. But and then DeMarcus Robinson playing a game of musical chairs goes off to the Las Vegas Raiders. So anyways, then you have Keelan Cole coming from the New York Jets over to the Las Vegas Raiders we'll talk about. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Docious Lamb, hey Beast, not your fan here, just seeing what's up. Miss you covering us over here. Hey man, thank you so much. Like I said, the overwhelming support that I've been getting, and I get messages like this more than I expected, to be honest with you. But it's really, what's the word? I'm just humbled and honored that you guys would stick with me through it all, because I'll be honest, like, it's tough when someone that you follow covers a different team, because it's like you're not covering that team anymore. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you really like them and the analysis that they provided, you're going to want to follow them. Because what do? I tie it into fantasy football. I tie it into odds. There's a lot of different things I've been doing since day one. And we're talking about 2000, when I started my blog, 2012 I started. And so I've been doing it, and here we are today, thank God. So yeah, man, there's no ill will toward the 49ers or the Steelers or whatever team I covered before, Cardinals. I just love talking football, and that's why there's fans from all over. My man JP, Arizona Cardinals fan, I bet he wants my take on already what's going on in that matchup. I think they play week 2, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun either way. You guys are going to want to know what I have to say, because I always keep it hot, 100, and honest. I'm never one to give you fluff. I will tell it like it is, just like when I told you guys that Deebo Samuel wasn't mad about being the wide back, and then he comes out and says it. Check the Beast receipt. I retweeted it yesterday. I was like, you know what? Like, I retweeted. I didn't tweet. I retweeted it. What I said in real time, that, trust me on this, Deebo Samuel's not mad because he's playing the wide back. He just wants to be compensated as a wide back, which I said on my YouTube channel here in the BWF, that it's not about anything else than being compensated for what you're worth, because he's being used as a running back. We know the tread on the tires on running backs don't last very long, especially between the tackles, and he took a beating. You saw toward the end of the year how he was just gutting it out. And you want to talk about a player who has heart, who does things the right way? Deebo Samuel does things the right way. And I don't care what anyone says. Oh, well, he's not a top 5 wide receiver. Oh, no. Nah, dude. He's not a top 5 wide receiver. He's the number 1 wide back. So there's that. But no, thank you so much, Docious. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's talk about who will be the starting offensive line. I talked about this on Radio Nation Radio before the official depth chart went out. Well, we went on record 2 weeks ago previous to that. And I said, it's going to be Colton Miller. No surprise there. John Simpson, maybe a surprise to a lot of people. Maybe they thought it was Dylan Parham. But the way I saw things and graded both Dylan Parham at Memphis and then John Simpson today, and then watching in training camp, it's just John Simpson's job to lose. He's more based for a power-based run scheme. He's a little bit more technique-wise stronger at the point of attack. And he carries his weight in a good light for that zone blocking, transition from the zone blocking scheme to that power scheme. And so when you talk about powers and traps and pulls and counters and then working in the backside gap, these are different down blocking or combo reach blocking. And then you watch and practice and how that translates their techniques onto the football field. John Simpson is doing a really good job. And the same could be said on the flip side of that with Lester Cotton coming out of Alabama. So I like both those guys. Now, the line is the question mark. And if the line holds up and does a decent job, look out. This Raiders offense can arguably be top 5 when it's all said and done. I know that sounds crazy because you have the Chiefs, you have the Chargers win the division, you have the Broncos, but they lost Tim Patrick. But they still have Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton there. Obviously, you have the Javonte Williams, so I was really high on coming out of North Carolina. And so, who's a pinball? What I nicknamed him what? A bowling ball? Because he's like a pinball machine. He's just like, you can't tackle the guy. Javonte Williams is a monster. But anyways, getting back to what's going on with the Raiders, the offensive line for me, the left side is already set. It's set. You got Andre James there at center. He's not going to be unseated by a rookie unless he's a guy like, I don't know, Kevin Mawai coming in or something like that, which I don't see Dylan Parham being that guy. I think he's just going to be the primary backup at interior guard and can be a swing guard, right? He played right guard mainly, but he can also play left. And then also you flip side that and then play offensive center. I think that will do wonders for his progression and learning the NFL game and also the speed of the NFL. One of the things I kind of noticed about his game, and again, this is my 10th training camp coverage, is I think he's still getting acclimated to the speed and power of the NFL game conversion. And I don't think people can stress this enough when they talk about speed. Converting it from, and I always talk about layers of the onion to get to the core if you're new here. So let's talk about the different layers of speed and how that translates into the NFL, right? So take for example, a guy from FCS school, like a Trey Lance school or North Dakota State, or someone from the Big Sky, right? Someone like that. And then you translate that speed, right, at every position and convert that to a Power 5 conference, Big 10, SEC, Pac-12, you name it, right? And then convert that to SEC top 5 talent, right? So the Alabamas, the LSUs, and then or ACC, Clemson, right? Got to get Clemson some love. I'll throw in Auburn, my rival, whatever. Auburn, okay, cool story. All right, SEC school. All right, and then you convert that to the NFL level. That's a lot of different layers for a player to really get it. Because aside from the speed, a lot of things come at you quick. Because not only does speed translate into power, but also the power itself translates into speed. What I mean by that is when you talk about NFL draft terminology, converting speed to power. We hear that all the time. Oh, look at him trim that corner. He can really, man, he can convert that speed to power. Look at Derek Barnett when he came out. I was very high on him. John Lynch knows it. I freaking was like, dude, I like Derek Barnett. He's gonna be a stud, right, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then got drafted by the Eagles, right? Kind of remind me of a John Abraham, kind of a tweener. And when you guys don't know what a tweener is, it's today we call him an edge, but back in the day, when I first started covering the NFL draft back in 2000, they were known as tweeners. So I like using that tweener. I'm going to still continue using tweener. I'm not going to use edge because he's a tweener. I'm going to bring back the tweener terminology. Watch. And then people will start piggybacking on it. I know Daniel Jeremiah liked it when I tweeted that out to him. But look, this is where we're at. This is where we're at today with the offensive line. It's set on the left side, the right side, in my opinion. Now, the right side, I honestly think, and I ran grades on Alex Leatherwood, all the offensive linemen. Once Alex Leatherwood kicked inside to guard week 5, he did really well. He played at a Pro Bowl level. So why not keep him at guard? Do you want a Pro Bowl right guard or a serviceable right tackle? And when you talk about GM Dave Ziegler coming from the Patriot way, And then you talk about and you look at the landscape around the entire NFL. Again, as I grade all 32, including the GMs in the front offices, you look at a guy like Houston Texans GM Nick Caserio, and he has the same problems with his squad. He has the same problems with his offensive line. So if you look at the way they're trying to do business, it's all about what? Formulating the best five. Keep the best five alive, right? That's the Raider way, that's the Patriot way, and that's also the Houston Texans way. So we are Texans. What are you guys going to do, right? In my estimation, I think you should keep my opinion. I don't think this is going to happen this way, but my opinion is I think Alex Leatherwood should kick into right guard and play Brandon Parker at right tackle. That's what I would do. But there's an X factor, and his name's Lester Cotton, because Lester Cotton is a man among boys at that right guard position, and he's playing really well. So it's hard for me to say that, oh, just plug Alex Leatherwood at right guard over Lester Cotton. No, it's going to be a camp battle right there. But ultimately, I think the primary camp battle for Leatherwood is going to be at right tackle. Although, if it was me, I'd kick him inside the guard. So, in a nutshell, Alex Leatherwood will probably be starting right tackle, and Lester Cotton will be a starting right guard. So you have a dynamic duo on that right side, which is good. I'm not opposed to it. I just think that Alex Leatherwood's a better guard than he is a tackle. And I said it in real time when he was drafted number 17th overall. All right. So, with that being said, let's talk about the Raider way, right? We talked about it. The Raider way. Why am I talking about the Raider way? Well, these are things that you want to look for when you watch tomorrow's game, because everybody's just talking about the game. But if you look at the minute details of exactly what head coach Josh McDaniels is trying to do, and that defensive staff is trying to do with Patrick Graham and so forth, you're going to find little bits and details on exactly what they're trying to do on both sides of the football. So I talk about toughness. I talk about mental toughness, physical toughness, smart, and really playing with sound leverage and sound fundamentals, right? So if you can do these things, and the best way to do that, backtrack a little bit, the best way to do those things is to keep the offense very vanilla, right? If you're going to down block, just run it up the gut and see if these guys can combo reach block, right? Or if you're trying to pull or trap with Dylan Parham at center or guard, or move Alex Leatherwood to guard from tackle because you want to see a different combination with Brandon Parker as opposed to Lester Cotton, and so vice versa, you're going to see a lot of mix and matches here. Now, granted, Alex Leatherwood and Lester Cotton probably won't play much, but with Dylan Parham, I think he's going to get a lot of reps. I think he's going to get a lot of live reps on both positions. This is going to be a game and a rude awakening in a good way for Dylan Parham, because he's very smart. He gets it, and I honestly think he can be a Pro Bowl player. I know it's crazy, right? Oh my gosh, you're calling him a pro. He's not even on the starter yet. Hey man, I'm just saying the future is bright for Dylan Parham. So really eager to see number 66. Really eager to see how this offensive line gels cohesively. And I'm really eager to see how the Raider Nation are going to really focus on not necessarily the score of the game, although yes, winning is not everything, but in a preseason game, you more so want to look at how are these players playing their techniques and learning the scheme, right? And the flip side of that is on the defensive side. You have Nate Hobbs as the boundary cornerback with Rocket Sand, something I predicted before the depth chart came out. Obviously, we know it's Trayvon Merrick and Jonathan Abram on the back end. Let's face it, you're not going to sit strong safety Jonathan Abram, even though he's the weakest link. You're not going to sit him, because who do you have behind him? Roderick Teamer? I mean, no. I mean, who's the other guy? Harmon Duran, or whatever his name is. I don't think he's going to do anything, although he's very smart and savvy. I think he was just there to be a veteran presence on the back end to kind of coach these guys up and teaching them the proper techniques for the scheme. My opinion. We'll see. Now watch him start. But time will tell. But yeah, those are some things that I look for. I really want to see Taylor Munford, because you guys all remember this guy's a man among boys, and obviously he played guard, but he's being converted to offensive tackle. But in a pinch, I want to see if he can cross train and do both. Because again, we talk about functional cross training, right? Can you be able to do X, Y, Z? The more valuable you are to this NFL coaching staff with Josh McDaniels is being very smart and understanding not only but the other 10. If you can do that, they're not going to get rid of you because you're smart. Obviously, you have to put the product on the football field, but if you can do that and know where everyone's supposed to be, just saying, just saying. But the wild card to me is this guy. All right, I'm gonna just put it out there. All right, the wild card to me is gonna be Amik Robertson. Right, Amik Robertson is a guy who I was very high of coming out of Louisiana Tech. In fact, he was one of my 3 sleepers in that draft class, along with Shaquille Quarterman, which I retweeted. Yes, I retweeted. I run grades on college players, NFL players, whatever the case may be. But Amik Robertson, to me, has that swagger, that toughness, that physicality that you would want for the cornerback position. The problem with Amik Robertson is he's diminutive in size, which hurts his stock. And what I mean by that is you can be small. You can be like an Aaron Glenn, right? You can be like a Ray Mickens. You can be like a Jason Webster, right? Some of these guys that are on the shorter side, D'Angelo Hall, right? You can be on the shorter side of the spectrum, but then you also have to make up for it with vertical, right? If you're trying to high ball the catch point at the catch point and win that 50-50 ball, you have to be able smart to use the sideline as an extra defender. You have to be able and have the fluid hips to kind of stay with receivers downfield. You also have to have the toughness and the power, right, up top, the upper body strength to withstand bump and run. And so when you see with Amik Robinson, when I ran great game grades on Amik Robinson last year, he was always in position, but his size kind of hurt him because at the catch point, he was unable to either dislodge or make a play on the football. And if I'm a defensive back coach and I'm looking at this, or if I'm running my game grades and I seen this and it's a cover 3 and you just see the quarterback picking him off speed outs or whatever the case may be, because he's playing off zone coverage, I mean, that's going to be a problem. Now, that's not to say I don't like Amik Robinson. I do like Amik Robinson. I do think he's going to be a good player, but he has to clean up some of his techniques, especially at the top of his drop when he's breaking on the football. All right. So these are things that I look for. That's another player that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow is how he breaks on the football, how he plays his leverage, and does he really understand the concepts of what the scheme is asking based on the cover shells that he's required to play. All right. Sun Raider said, hey, man, you're already my favorite Raiders insider. I love your energy and passion. Hope to meet y'all during the opener. Hey, man, I would love to meet you, bro. Honestly, that's what it's about. I always love giving back. And again, without you guys, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. So mahalo for the love, man. It means a lot to me that I'm already your favorite Raiders insider. And words can't express how grateful I am to have you guys all in my corner. And like I said, man, this is no matter what team I'm talking about or what college team I'm talking about or which team that you guys root for, how I built up the following is just based off my game grades and predictions. So like, I can literally talk about any freaking team. And we've done it here. We talked about the Atlanta Falcons with Mike Rothstein. We talked about name a team. We talked about literally all 32 teams. Niners, of course. I mean, that's a given. We talked about the Seahawks. We can talk about the Seahawks all day. We talk about freaking, I don't know, what name a team. Panthers, Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, and ran grades on Jonathan Allen. Think he's a monster. Chase Young was playing at an all-pro level once again before his injury, but who won't be healthy before the year starts. But, you really got to look at the landscape around the entire NFL, and I thank you for that information and feedback because, again, you guys are the ones that actually make the show, right? I mean, if you got whatever you guys want, I'm going to provide. I'm going to try to provide it for you guys because that's the whole point of this. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, PG. Yeah, you're talking about PG's defense. So Coach Patrick Graham's defense moves the secondary around a lot. He does. And a funny story. One of my first pressers, or my very first presser with Patrick Graham, is I kind of had a Freudian slip, and some of you guys joked about that, where I said that he was going to run a 2-gap scheme and a 34 base defense. Like, I never said that. He's like, basically, he's like, you're getting ahead of stuff. But he's like, I'm watching you, though, in a good way, right? He's kind of joking around, like, I'm watching you, though. He's like, that's a good one. But Coach Graham, if you're watching, there's a Freudian slip. But in my estimation, you are tailor made for a not power base, for a 3-4 base 2-gap scheme. Now I know you're going to play different fronts. You can talk about a 3-3-5 alignment, a 4-2-5, whatever the case may be. Talk about bare front, which I tweeted out earlier. And again, all this good information, all these different schemes that I'm going to be talking about, they all play a role in what Patrick Graham's going to do. Because yes, you can talk when you talk to somebody and be like, oh yeah, are you a 3-4 base or a 4-3 front? Most times, if I was a coach, I'd be like, man, we are a winning front, right? I wouldn't give you anything. I'm not going to tell you what defense I'm going to run. Why? Because then that's this intel for the opponents to kind of game plan. Oh, so if they're putting a 34 base defense, oh, okay, well, that means they're going to be lighter in the box because that means their edges are now probably in that 250, 265 range as opposed to 285, right? And a defensive end, right? Or the tweener role, right? The tweener role of the Julian Petersons of the Michigan States. But getting back to it, I think they're going to run a 34 base defense. Now, watch me be wrong. They're going to run a lot of different hybrid defenses, but ultimately, Neil Farrell is a nose tackle. Okay. Ball Nichols, because I run grades, coming from a 34 base defense. Okay. With the Chicago Bears. Jayon Brown coming from a 34 base defense with the Tennessee Titans. So you see the free agents that they added, the draft picks that they added, and it all tailors to, and Coach Graham talks about it from week one when he was named the defensive coordinator, is you have to win your one-on-ones, right? You have to win your one-on-ones. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. Yes, obviously you have to, if you can't win your one-on-ones, don't see the field, bro, because that's mano a mano, and you have to be a hat on a hat and win that battle. In a 2-gap scheme, right? In a 2-gap scheme, you have to be able to also do what? Stack and shed, but also ID the ball carrier in the backfield and make a play on the football. If you look at this defensive line, Jonathan Hankins, tailor-made for a 34 base defense. Yeah, he can play in a 4-3 front as a 3 tech, I guess, or a 0 or a 1, whatever the case may be, based on how you want to pre-snap their alignment. But is it going to be a 4-3 over or a 4-3 under, right? So when you talk about different fronts, it's not just a simple 4-3 front. You can talk about the over-under, and I'm going to talk about that in a later podcast because, again, different terminologies, different schemes call for different techniques. And so when I watch practice, I'm not stupid. I look at that stuff. I'm like, okay, so the tight ends are working on combo reach blocking, right? With Coach Clemens. What technique are they going? Well, it's easy because you can see where the freaking tackle dummies lined up and be like, oh, well, they're practicing the 7 tech right now. Okay. And then you take mental notes, right? That's what I do when I watch practice. I try to, just like the coaching staff, right? They're paying a fine attention to detail. So am I, right? So that's what I say when my reporting is very different because I call it from a different lens, right? I see things from a different lens. And credit to a lot of the players that I covered other teams, a lot of coaches, GMs that have helped me along the way. My guy, Randy Miller, former GM of the Saints, obviously with the Dolphins as well. A lot of different, Andre Carter, who coached Neil Farrell at LSU, Randy Cross, right? Former great 49er. These guys taught me a lot, right? On what to look for when watching game film. How are you supposed to leverage your splits? Okay. And I talked about this on Twitter, right? When we talk about combo reach blocking, there's some coaches, and I just learned this just from straight watching, but some coaches will be like, okay, get your head across, right? You see that term, get your head across. What that means is they want your head on attacking the outside hip of the defender, right? And get your head across, get over that way. Some coaches say stay square. I want you to stay square and still get over. Other coaches say, nah, that's all BS, man. I just want you to come at a 45-degree angle and hit this dude right on the hip, right? Right on the outside hip so you can leverage him outside. So for me, I've seen it all. Those are just 3 different techniques that are being taught based on the different schemes that are being asked. And here's another thing of this. When you have a new coaching staff, and trust me, I know because I was friends with some of the coaches, some coaches do not agree with other coaches. I mean, that's kind of like common sense. Not everyone's going to agree with anything. But no, I'm talking about technique-wise. If the defensive coordinator wants you to play press man instead of off man and then playing with inside leverage as opposed to outside leverage, and then you have a DB coach come in and be like, nah, man, that's not how we're going to do it. You come out of the film room and be like, yo, like, what are you talking about? Coach just said that we're supposed to – nah, man, No, man, I want you to do this in this situation. If it's a box set, if we're going against trips formation and they're lined up here, you have to come across and play with inside leverage as opposed to outside leverage because your help is over here. Oh, but what coach said, nah, I'm telling you, it happens. I seen it, I've heard it, and it's not pretty. So that's why when I say everybody has to be on the same page, everybody has to be on the same page. And with Josh McDaniels' coaching staff, luckily everyone's on the same page. Damian Bond says, I need running back Britton Brown and wide receiver Justin Hall to make the roster. Everybody likes Justin Hall, man, huh? Everybody likes Justin Hall. I believe I have a video of him up on my YouTube. And Justin Hall, I like him too. I already went on record. Already went on Raider Nation Radio 920 with Clay a couple days ago at 9 a.m. And again, or is it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I'll post the link up on YouTube so you guys can hear what I had to say in the community tab. If you guys follow me on YouTube, I'll post the link up. Just go ahead and click that link, and it's some pretty good stuff, I think. You're like, oh man, that's crap. No, but we talked about the wide receivers, and I said, they're like, how many wide receivers do you think they're going to keep? I think they're going to keep 6. I think they're going to keep 6 wide receivers. And the reason I say that is because Devontae Adams is going to be Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfrow is going to be Hunter Renfrow, right? Keelan Cole is going to be, should I spill the beans? I don't know if I want to spill the beans yet because I'm going to be on Sanjeet's. You guys know who Sanjeet is, obviously. He's a bigger YouTuber than me. But I'm going to be on his channel tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we're going to be talking who I believe is going to be the wide receiver over there. But in a nutshell, you have Keelan Cole, who I've been very, very, very high on. Obviously, he played with the Jets. Before that, he played with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, he was playing behind guys like DJ Shark from LSU over the course of the year. So he's a guy, when given the limited opportunities, he can really shine. And I know people are upset about Bryan Edwards being traded to the Atlanta Falcons, but I talked about this again on Raider Nation Radio, where, when you have a wide receiver like that, and again, it translates into the offense. How many times is that guy going to receive a target share week in and week out? And of those targets, how many of those are just going to be straight 7, 8, 9 bangers, 15 to 20 yard runs based on down and distance? So you can find that banger who can run 7, 8, 9 bangers, and that's a corner, that's a post, that's a go route or a fly route or a fade route, whatever the case may be, coming off your stem. But these are things that you look for. And I'm like, you know what? Keelan Cole can do those things. Mac Hollins can definitely do those things. And he's going to be on the team because he's a special teams ace, which I tweeted out earlier, right? He's a good on coverage units, takes proper angles. He's fast. He's speedy. If Hunter Renfrow goes down, you need to have, again, cross-trained guys who can do multiple different things, because you can only keep how many players on the roster? 53, 56, whatever the case may be. I don't know what that number is with COVID rules, but let's say 53, and a 10-man practice squad or a 16-man practice squad. I don't know what it is this year. I have to look it up. That's a good question for myself now that I'm talking to myself, but you guys get the picture. I think they're going to keep 6 wide receivers. Damian Bond says, I need Britton Brown to be back number 3 and Justin Hall to be a back to back up Hunter. It's going to be interesting. Going to be really interesting, guys. And again, if you guys like my stuff and you're watching it right now, please give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know that this is legit and it's good. No, I'm joking. It really does help though when you give it a thumbs up and engage with me. So keep asking me questions. I'm going to open this up if you guys want. All right. If you guys want, you guys can hop on the live show, and I'm just going to open this up to you guys, because at the end of the day, this is the first time I'm doing this for the Raider Nation. But go ahead and hop on right now. This is a live call-in show. You see that link right here? All you guys got to do is go to that link or open a new browser, put that code in, and I'll see you on the screen at the bottom here, and I'll add you in, and we can talk football. Whatever questions you may have, it's live. You guys will be on the show, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to get to some of my questions that I have. There's a lot of questions here on Facebook. Again, if you guys are on Facebook, I highly suggest you follow our Facebook page and group. It's just Dark Side of BEASTwriter. Pretty dope, right? DOB. So everyone's like, what does DOB stand for? And it stands for Dark Side of BEASTwriter. It's up on my Twitter. A question was asked to me by someone in the Raider Nation. They're like, oh, I love your stuff, whatever. cool story, right? And then they're like, oh, well, what does DOB stand for? I'm like, oh man. So now that people know what it is, I'm just gonna pin my response to him. So DLB stands for Dark Side of BEASTwriter. It's football and fitness. That's what we do. And it's predictions, analysis, and everything in between. So if you want to see things from a different lens, aside from the reporting, which I'm going to do as well, and posting these YouTube videos up in real time from practice and what I see on the field and how that translates into the following week based on the schemes that they're going to be facing, because I'm going to be also scouting the other team week in and week out. I watch 65 to 70 hours of game film every single week, and I'm not joking about that. In fact, that's probably on the lower end. And I talked with my man, Randy Mueller. We talk about watching game film all the time. Congratulations to my man, Randy Miller, who's now with the XFL Seattle football team. They don't have a name yet, as far as I know, but I'm a huge Seattle fan now. I will make the trip and watch my man, Randy Mueller. He taught me a lot, so much as far as game film and what to look for and different things. But getting back to it, when you watch the game film and you watch different things and know what to look for, I don't just say, oh, well, they're facing the Kansas City Chiefs, so it's gonna be a high scoring game. It's like, nah, man, like, is it really? Weather conditions obviously play a role, but obviously it's a different team. You don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, right? So that's going to change the offense vastly. Obviously, Sky Moore, right? If you guys watch NFL Network today, Sky Moore got hurt, and he kind of limped off the football field today. So they're not as good as advertised, in my opinion. Again, I'm not afraid to say I think the Raiders are going to be better than the Chiefs. I think the Raiders are going to be better than the Chiefs. Now, watch Chiefs Kingdom fans who are in here. My man Jeff, who's a Chiefs Kingdom fan, good thing he's not watching. He'd be like, what are you talking about, man? We got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We got Travis Kelce. We got OBJ. I'm not talking about Odell Beckham Jr. I'm talking about Orlando Brown Jr., who they got in a trade for the Baltimore Ravens, because if you guys remember, he requested a trade because Ronnie Stanley got hurt against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe it was week 9, broke his ankle, and then Orlando Brown switched from the right side to the left side, and then he wanted left side money, right? He wanted left tackle blind side money. He's like, man, I'm a left tackle. And then GM Eric DeCosta is like, nah, man, you're an offensive tackle. And then OBJ is like, nah, man, I'm a left tackle. And then Eric DeCosta says, okay, well, Ryan Stanley's coming back, so I'm going to trade you. And he says, okay. No, I'm not sure how it went down. That's kind of how it went down, right? And so here we are today. And Orlando Brown Jr. is, as far as I know, I worked out. I didn't get the news yet, but as far as I know, he still didn't sign a contract extension, right? He's still kind of like, he wanted more guarantee or something like that. I don't know what's going on there, but look, I think he got a lot of money by Brett Veach and he turned it down. So I don't know what. Look, if you're not a top 5 offensive tackle, why are you asking for top 5? I guess his age, right? Coming from Oklahoma. I don't know. Oklahoma players be having some issues, man. Kyler Murray and studying 4 hours of play. 4 hours, bro. I just watch 75 to 80 hours a week. I said 60 to 75, but it is up there. 4 hours? 4 hours of game film a week? I mean, how can you prep for 4 hours? That's like, I'm being serious. How can you prep with only 4 hours a week of game film? Like, what do you just watch one half of one game and just call it quits? Or you just get the notes and be like, oh, okay, this is what they do on 1st and 10. This is what they do on 2nd and 10. This is how many times they use this cover shell. This is how many times they blitz with this linebacker based on this personnel that's in when he subs in. Okay, I'm done. I don't know. I have no idea. When that report came out, I was like, man, that ain't it, bro. I would not sign Kyler Murray to that fat extension if you have to tell somebody to put in that work ethic. I can tell you right now, Josh McDaniel, Coach Josh McDaniels and James Daisy look like, good thing we have Derek Carr because he studies his ass off. I'm just saying, from a study aspect of it and student of the game and learning the game and actually having passion for the game, we talk about checking off the boxes. I wonder how the interview process went with Kyler Murray. Hey, how much film do you study? Oh, no, I just get by my raw talent. I just get by my raw talent. Really? You just get by your raw talent? That is a lazy excuse for a player that's not going to reach his full potential because he's not willing to put in that work. Look, you want to talk about a guy who puts in work? When I cover the Las Vegas freaking Raiders, it's Max Crosby. He is the first one in and the last one out. And by the way, say what you want about Colin Kaepernick, but he was always the first one in and the last one to leave. And from a work ethic standpoint, Max Crosby, to me, very impressed with him. Very impressed the way he handles his business and practice and team drills. He's the team leader. He's really taking on that leadership role. If there's one person that I could say, and the question was asked to me by an NFL scout, a good friend of mine. He's like, "Oh man, congratulations on the Raiders!" Like, dude, what's one player that really stood out from a leadership standpoint? And we can name Devontae Adams, we can name Derek Carr. He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Give me someone." He's like, "Give me someone that's like who you." I think he was testing me because I think he already knew the answer. He's like, "Give me someone who you think I really, really like because you're there now." And I was like, "It's Max Crosby," and then he just smiles like, "Yo." He's like, "I don't doubt it." He's like, "I was high on him coming out." So this is what I'm telling you, man. Like, there's a lot of good things that are happening in terms of like what the Las Vegas Raiders are trying to do and the cultural identity they're trying to bring. And whether it be Lenny McGill, my guy, right, from San Diego, right, or he's a scout. You guys don't know who he is. GM Dave Ziegler and the scouting department doing a very good job, or down to the nutritionists, right? They have nutritionists, right? And they go after and they talk about things that normally maybe some other coaching staffs don't really put too much stock in. Like, for instance, Trent Brown, right? Avery Trent Brown coming out of Florida, and he weighed like, what, 355? And someone was like, "Oh, man, what do you eat?" And he's like, "Oh, I eat whatever. Like, I eat like gummy bears and shit." Like, he eats everything. Like, I'm just like, bro. And then when people ask me what I eat to look like this, I'm like, I don't eat gummy bears. I eat In-N-Out. I'm joking. Not really, not though. Like, if you guys know, I'm like, at heart, I love food. Like, let's just say I eat Rice Krispie treats with almond butter. You guys know about my In-N-Out gains. I'll post the videos up on YouTube, I believe. I posted my In-N-Out gains with all the beat writers where they recorded me. Lombardi was the one recording. So was Mayoko. Cam Inman was like my cheerleader. He's like rooting me on. Matt Barros was watching in the background. Who else was there? They're all recording me as I ate this 4x4 smashed between two Krispy Kreme donuts, and I ate that in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. And the next day I was just like, I'm never doing that again. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die for real. But it was fun times. It was fun times, and it was during training camp around this time. I just like doing fun things like that. I like coming into work and having fun. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like going into work with a bad attitude. I don't like walking in the door and be like, "Oh man, like my life sucks, bro." It's like, dude, stay positive, right? Always take the positive out of a negative situation. That's how I want to see it. We got my man Damian Bonds coming in. Let's see if we can get him in here. I think we're gonna get him all in here real fast. What's up, Damian? How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on? I don't know if y'all can see me. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. There's a little
Hear
bit of
me?
a lag. There's a little bit of a lag, but it's all good, man. Hey, I just want to say thank you before we start. Thank you for supporting me, and I appreciate the love, man. Join the DOB, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Can y'all see me a little better now?
Yeah, we can see it's just laggy on your end, but it's all
Hey,
good though.
okay. Well, yeah. Thank you for bringing me on. I'm looking forward to the season. I got a new Raiders anthem that I'm dropping tomorrow called Raider Baby too. So it'll be.
Check it
I
out.
got a new Raiders song that I'm putting. Yeah, I'm putting it on all platforms. It'll be out tomorrow. So anybody who listening, enjoy the Raiders. I got a new anthem for us called Raider Baby, dropping it tomorrow on all platforms.
That's what's up. So you're a rapper, or you do that for fun?
Yeah, I'm an artist. Yeah,
Okay, okay. Well, I gotta peep it out now. Now you
definitely,
got me.
definitely.
Hey, now you put me on the spot. Now I gotta check it out. I definitely send it to me.
Yeah, it's going.
Throw me a DM, bro. I'll get the word out for you, man. Because I love the hustle. I love the grind, man. One thing about me, man, is like I understand the hustle. I understand the grind, right? So I can kind of relate to you, right? So put in that work, bro.
Right.
You'll get noticed, right? If you're good at what you do, you'll get noticed, bro. So like keep putting in that work. You're gonna have haters. I'm sure you have haters already, but silence the haters with your noise. And what I mean by that, with your
All right.
gains, like put out your stuff, man, and don't worry about the drama. Don't worry about the freaking white noise, bro. Just keep going, keep pushing forward, bro, and you're gonna get there, man. The hardest thing to do when you do stuff like that is you're putting yourself out there, right? And so like someone, oh man, Damian, you see that's trash, that sucks, bro. Like who does he think? I'm sure. Look, it happened to me before I became in covering the NFL as part of a beat writer, right? So like it's almost like, okay, cool, that's a cool story, okay. But let's be honest, like if I was that bad, you wouldn't be talking about me in the first place, right? So that's what I say, man. Keep grinding, put your stuff out there, and I'll be more than happy to share your stuff, bro.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. But look, it's too much lag, so I'm gonna let you get back to your show. I got my Daniel Carlson jersey on. That was my MVP last year. So other than that, man, salute, Greater Nation. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right, man. Aloha, man. All right, that was Damian Bonds. All right, so we got Mariah Faithful. Check her out. She's on YouTube too. One of my biggest supporters, and she also has a YouTube channel. I'm all about good vibes only. You guys know me. I'm not one to hit on anyone. And that's the thing. It's like, why? I don't know why people do that, but follow my girl Mariah. She has a podcast of her own, and if I'm not mistaken, she just started it like last year, this year. I think it was last year. I think it was last year, but I follow it, and yeah, she works her butt off. She works her butt off, and so like that's what I say. I appreciate the hustle and grind. People in here, if you appreciate the hustle and grind, you appreciate the work that people put out there, and like I said, silence. Anyone who wants to hear this, man, like, look, when I bodybuild, right? Like, and before I started winning my show, like cool stories, trophies and stuff. That's pretty cool, right? So before I started winning my shows, I was losing, right? In the very beginning. And then people were like, oh man, you're too old for this, man. You're competing with 18-year-olds. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use that as motivation. I'm gonna prove you wrong. Not only am I gonna hold up and be first call outs, I'm gonna win the show. And that's what I did. Then I was like, I'll use that feel for fire, right? And like that just fueled my drive. So anybody who wants to hear this, man, silence the haters with your gains and let your gains be your noise. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. This is a good one because we talked about a lot of different topics. Obviously, we talked about the offensive line, talked about what things to look for, and as opposed to guys like, ooh, I guess we can talk a little bit about Divine Diablo, right? We got a question here. I guess I can't go yet. Divine Diablo. So we have a question here regarding Divine Diablo. You said, on Twitter, you said that Divine Diablo is going to be a tackling machine next to Denzel Perryman. Why do you think he's going to have a breakout season? Okay, here's the thing with Divine Diablo. If he's playing in a 34 base defense, which I don't know, he's listed as a 4-3 outside linebacker. Okay. 4-3 outside linebacker, will he be the Sam or the Will? Whatever the case, he'd probably be the Will linebacker if they're in a 4-3 base. But he's just going to make plays sideline to sideline because he's fast. He's a converted safety. So from that aspect, he's already going to be taking proper angles and have that extra range to cover. In a game of inches, where we say football is a game of inches, and you can line up and convert a strong safety into that linebacker role, which we've seen many times over. We try to see coaches do that, right? We saw it with the San Francisco 49ers with Taylor Mays coming out of USC, a second-round pick, right? They thought he would be a strong safety. And didn't turn out, and then tried to convert him to outside linebacker. And you can see it, in the landscape around the NFL, right? Whether it be, who is it, Keanu Neal or Deion Jones, or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of different things you can do. But at the end of the day, it's almost like this. Like, you have to be able to be strong at the point of attack if you're going to make that conversion, because usually what you're giving up on the back end, and as opposed to the second level, is weight, is speed. And again, what you win in speed, you may give up in leverage technique, because again, you're probably going to be lighter in the butt, right? So you're not going to have a strong base. So you're going to have to probably slip some blocks sometimes, because the offensive linemen, once they lock horns on you, it's going to be hard to disengage, right? And that's kind of like a learning curve for a guy like Divine Diablo. But I think he's going to do just fine. Interviewed Divine Diablo. I think he's going to be a great player for this team moving forward. And like I said, Patrick Graham's going to move him around all over the place and create the perfect mismatch pre-snap to post-snap, and really make plays on the football and create havoc on the back end. So I'm really excited about Divine Diablo for what it's worth. Is there anyone that I'm not excited about? That's a question. Yes, there are some people like Jonathan Abram. I don't care. Like, I graded him. He's not very good in coverage. He's not. He's a traditional box safety. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, man. Like, whether you're playing cover 3 or cover 4, or playing a 2 deep half, or even a cover 7 coverage, if you're doing that, which they don't, But I just don't see him have the range to even keep up with a tight end. I mean, I just don't see that. Now, can he bring the hammer? Of course he can. But he also takes poor angles when he does bring the hammer because he doesn't wrap up. He doesn't squeeze through the thighs. Sometimes he doesn't use the sideline as an extra defender and taking a proper angle when he's trying to catch the ball carrier. And they're kind of in a foot race. So, I'm not excited about Jonathan Abram. There's a reason why they declined his 5th-year option. That's all I got to say. And you don't decline first-round picks 5th-year option because that's like the premium, right? Where salary cap is at a premium and you're trying to get guys on the cheap. You don't decline a player's 5th-year option unless you don't see him as a long-term fixture, as a core foundational player in the Raider way. That's just me. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. San Jose Raiders says, what's your take on McDaniels so far as a head coach? Seems like he's really getting this team disciplined. Yes. Josh McDaniels. Okay, let me just tell you again, this is my 10th training camp covering an NFL team. All right, 10th. First one with the Raiders. All right, first one with the Raiders, 9 with the Niners. All right, let me tell you something. I've been through Chip Kelly. I've been through Jim Harbaugh. I've been through Kyle Shanahan. I've been through Jim Tomsula. Right? Now I've been through Josh McDaniels, or going through Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels and Jim Harbaugh are like neck and neck. They're neck and neck. And that's high praise for Coach McDaniels. I really like Coach McDaniels. And aside from, he's just doing things the right way. He's preaching technique. He's preaching fundamentals. The first thing I walk out from the media workroom, which I post on my Instagram, and I did a reel. I got like 30,000 views just from I'm going to start doing those Aloha videos. I guess you guys like those Aloha videos where every morning I wake up and I do the day in the life of Beast, and I just kind of like shoot my way into the black gates of the Raider Nation and headquarters, and then show you guys the media workroom just to give you guys an inside scoop of what's going on before the festivities start and begin. We have those pressers. But getting back to it, Josh, I do that, right? Shoot that video, the Aloha video, post it up on YouTube and Instagram, and do that real cool story, dude. And then after that, you go to the practice field, and the first thing that I see in practice is I see them working on fine-tuning the fundamentals, whether it's not taking false steps from the wide receivers, whether it's getting a free release off the line of scrimmage, using proper hand placement, knowing how to lock out, knowing how to stack and then shed while peeking into the backfield. You're seeing these little things that are being coached up. And again, it's baby steps, right? In order to run, you have to learn how to walk. In order to walk, you have to learn how to crawl first, right? So it's crawl, walk, run, right? So you're seeing the different phases as training camp goes on, and you saw the same thing with Jim Harbaugh. Another thing that I like is it's very efficient. You see guys running to the next drill, whether it be a positional drill or a team drill. You see these guys running to the next drill. Another thing that I look for, just like when I watch game film, is I like watching plays away from the ball. I like seeing guys hustle on the backside pursuit. I like seeing guys who don't take plays off. I like to see that, and you get that from All Coaches 22. So from a different lens, although I'm not seeing that vantage point, I like to observe. So a lot of times I'll just be like this, and I'll be observing practice, because I want to see how the players are reacting to the guys that are on the field that are being coached up or taught. I don't like using the word coach because I think they're more teachers. These coaches are teachers, right? And the players are students of the game, right? That's how I see it. And when I coached, that's how I took that approach. I don't see myself as a coach. I see myself as a teacher, and these are my students, and they're students of the game, and I'm trying to teach them the right way of doing things. Same thing applies here. So when you see a positional coach who's maybe on the sideline with some players, and then you see these players who aren't even running these drills, and they're not slacking off. They're not shooting the crap with their friend, like trying to do like a Kendrick Bourne thing or something. You know what I mean? I love Kendrick Bourne, Coach McDaniels, if you're watching. Kendrick Bourne can dance. Polly Bourne, if you're watching, holla at your boy. But aside from it, you don't see people get basically not paying attention, right? Everyone's fine tuning. And you see the positional coaches asking them questions like, yo, look, you see this? You see him playing this technique? Okay, what if this guy comes over here? What are you supposed to do? Where are you supposed to line up? Okay, do you know your split? Okay, do you know what's going to happen with that outside linebacker when he does this or when he goes in motion? Do you know that you're supposed to reset back? These different things that you kind of pick up on, and everybody is focused. Everyone's like this, focused, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to see. And with Jim Harbaugh, with his coaching staff, they ran the very, very similar way of practice in terms of being very efficient and going to the next drill and not dogging it when it comes to stretches. That's the first thing I look for. When I see them stretch on the football field and they're doing the karaoke, or they're trying to do these hamstring warm-ups and so forth, and you see guys just kind of joking and going through the motions, like, nah, man, like, if I was your coach, I'd be like, nah, man, take a lap, bro. You're not taking it seriously. You're going to get hurt. You're going to have a soft tissue injury if you keep acting that way because you're not stretched out. Stretching is a vital part of physical therapy and for longevity in the NFL. Let me tell you something. I would know. I bodybuild, so I put my body through the grinder 4 hours a day, every day. So if you don't think stretching is an imperative part of your gains, you're wrong. And I will challenge anyone on that because I do this for a living. So getting back to Coach McDaniels, yes, very good coach, very impressed. He has his team going in the right direction. You're going to see a smart, tough, physical, hard-nosed football team that plays to the whistle. And you're going to see a very disciplined team, as you said. And prediction, here's a beast prediction. The Raiders ranked top 5 worst teams in penalties? They're going to be one of the top 5 best teams in not committing penalties. They're going to be one of the least committed penalties teams in 2022. Calling it. They're going to be the least committed, top 5 least committed penalized team in the NFL. Now everyone's saying, oh, Alex Leatherwood has false start penalties and blah. Hey, I'm taking my shot. Taking my shot. All right, guys. So I think that's going to be it. I got to get going because I gotta get back to the gym for my second workout. I went earlier, but if you guys want to catch my grind, you guys can do that on Instagram. Also, follow me on Facebook at Dark Side of BEASTwriter. We have a Facebook page that's public. We also have a private Facebook group that's private. So if you're on Facebook, which a lot of you guys are, I think 90% of us are on Facebook. I post a lot of my content there. Go ahead and do that. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously subscribe and hit the bell notifications so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Also, I'm on Twitter at BEASTwriter, same as my YouTube handle. So check me out on Twitter and YouTube at BEASTwriter. Follow, subscribe, or Dark Side of BEASTwriter on Facebook. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you had a fun time here on this Pick 6. And people wonder why I call it Pick 6. Well, it's called Pick 6 because every day at 6 o'clock, I try to hop on. I didn't do it yesterday at 6, obviously, but I thought the name of the show would be cool to call it Pick 6. And I was at the gym doing cardio and I said, wait, Pick 6. I could have done it at 6 yesterday. So why don't I just do it at 6 and call it Pick 6? Boom. Here we are today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day. BEASTwriter is out.